Welcome to the 293 Coke podcast. Today's episode is called SweetHeart. And this is why we're calling it SweetHeart, because in relationships, you get in a new relationship, everything's sweet, it's new, it's fresh. The euphoria, it makes you feel good, right? Your endorphins are kicking in. And then at some point, you get bored and you toss the wrapper and spit out the gum.
And they go from sugar to shit. So let's get into it. Let's go.
Let's get into it.
I think the thing of it is about one reason why we call it SweetHeart for this specific episode is because people don't take the time to really get to know that individual first and slowly. Because 9 times out of 10, when you get with somebody, right, you think they're cute, you fall in love, and you just be like, oh, my life. And they be like, woo, woo, gee, 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 whatever, right? But basically, they look at it like, oh, I want to spend the rest of my life with this person. And they thinking about the end goal, which is marriage, right? So, you go through the dating stage, and now it go by so fast that you get to the marriage point. Then it's like, oh, we're going to have kids and buy a house. They do that, right? They ain't thought past that. Because the only thing left that you got to do after you have the kids, get married, buy the house, the only thing you got for to look to is retirement and death. And the reason why I say that is because...
And that's not even great.
Right. And the reason why I say that is because you missing the pinpoints of the in-between. Like you said, what happens to the times where it's like you've been with somebody for like 30 plus years, right? And it just go kaput. It's like really bland. It's faded. So when the other person say, well, I'm bored, and they be like, well, what you want to do? We done did everything. Because you had everything on a laundry list. People forget to recycle through their relationship to be able to say, hey, not go back in time. Remember when we did this? They forget to spark it with new things and new ideas of what to do. Sometimes we get so focused on the life ending goals that we forget in between those times, you have to take a break and recycle through on what brought you together.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, we see it a lot. And we ain't saying that like, in the beginning, you can't be goo goo gaga, because we all done been there, done that, right? But we also have been in relationships where it got to that point to where it got really bland. And it's like, what do we supposed to do? We done did everything. And then it goes from being outside to sitting on the couch. And then it become a routine of, well, you getting home, you get off work, I'm cooking, you take the kids a bath, I'm going to bed, and you do it all over again the next day, 7 days a week. And then the only thing you have for to look to is like, oh, well, we can't wait till the kids get grown so they can move out the house and start their own family. And then you're looking at each other. But I mean, that's the reality for most families. And that's the reality for most people who get married, because they only looking at the end goal.
That's true.
So what is your thought on it, Charity? Speak some knowledge to me.
Well, I don't know. Like, just the SweetHeart. I feel like people always put on a face, like a face in general. Like, you want to meet that person, you want to be on your best behavior, right? Nah, fuck that shit. Take that person to the ringer. Be a sourpuss. You know what I mean? What's the candy?
Sour Patch.
Yeah, the Sour Patch.
Be the Sour Patch.
But, just like, you get a little bit of sweetness, but a little bit of sour. And see how they handle stuff. Can they handle it? Right? Like the episode before, we talked about protecting your energy, right?
Right.
And just being in this cycle, right? But you turn around and you're in this cycle because it's the norm. It becomes your norm.
Right.
So you forget how to love each other. You forget, how to really communicate. You forget how to laugh with each other because you go through the motions. You go through the motions of surviving. So when you have a family, you're pretty much surviving. When you're moving in and being in the same space with each other, at that point, you're no longer in that sweetheart phase. You're in survival phase because now you're looking at where do we go from here, right? Now, everybody put on a face. We all said half truth about ourselves, but we didn't give the full truth about ourselves, right?
We all done been there, especially in our younger days,
Right.
because you're trying to impress that person. Because, like you said, you see them as your sweetheart.
Right. It's that nice chocolate,
Yeah.
or whatever candy you guys like, or Slurpee, right? So you get in a relationship, you move in, you get married, and then it just becomes,
Well, because we put the list of expectations on ourselves because you know what? Once again, we're programmed to believe that's how everything's supposed to be. When you watch these movies on TV, they ain't going to show you a couple that's going through it and doing all this other stuff unless it's pointing out DV. You know what I'm saying? Or one person are on drugs or alcoholic, but they're not going to show you the realization of like, hey, we got to get to know each other. We got to see, I want to see your bad. I want to see your bad. I want to see your good, whatever like that. People are always going to bring out the good, but it's just like, what happened to the real norm of like, hey, I want to see you at your worst.
People, here's the thing. This is why we call it sweetheart, because people don't stay at the worst.
No, because it's all about impressing the individual to keep them.
Yeah.
And then once you got them, then you put more expectations on yourself because you got to keep up with that persona to keep that individual.
Well, that's even if they stay in it. A lot of people in that sweetheart space, it's great until that candy wears off, right? It's no longer chewable. Then they jump ship. You find another sweetheart. So you're chasing something that really the person that you met is not going to be able to give you, or the next person you meet is not going to be able to give you, because you're chasing something that's not true.
I'm gonna tell you the truest. I'm gonna tell you the truest thing you can do with a person when you meet them. Now, some of this is unethical.
It is,
but it's gonna be about being real. When you get with an individual, right? If you cannot be yourself around them, that's not the person for you. If you can't wake up in the morning with hot breath and you can't pass gas, if you can't be you that you do behind your own closed doors, you can't do it around the individual that you're talking to, that is not the person for you. And the reason why I say that is, and most people say, well, that's gross. We all do it, burp, whatever. If you don't do it, you're lying to yourself. But the reason why I say that is because you want a person that allow you to be your authentic self. That's authentic. We all pass gas. We all burp. We all wake up in the morning with bad breath because we got to brush our teeth when we get up. But I'm just saying, those little three things are stuff that actually happens. So when you see guys be like, oh, I can't date a girl that fart. We all fart.
But that's a him problem, right? That's a them problem. Like, you can't, and that's why I said, and this is why it's called the sweetheart, because people usually don't stay when things start to wear off. Like when that excitement starts to wear off, and when that excitement starts to wear off, you got to deal with people. It's just like COVID. When COVID happened, you were married for about 5 years or maybe 7. And then COVID happened, and it forced couples to
deal with each other,
stay home. And you start seeing a lot of divorce, a lot of abuse situations.
But you also had to remember this one line where people would say, well, remember, you didn't used to be like that. Remember when you was like, da, 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 da.
But they were in a sweetheart days.
Exactly.
Because they never had to actually sit and interact with them like your relationship 24/7. You would come home, your wife or whoever would have dinner on the table, whatever the case may be, right? And then you only have a short window, and then like you said, you got to get up and do it all over again.
Yeah.
Some people, that was comfortable for them, because here's the thing: we're sweetheart. plays a major factor. People get married not because they're really, this person is their everything, their person. People get married because, especially men, they get married because they need someone. And that's a horrible space to be in. Because when you get married, you're going to need that person, like, period. Off top. Instead of partner together, it's more of a need base.
You hit the nail on the head. And basically, it's just that, like, well, the thing of it is just that people get in relationships because they need somebody. And everybody need is different. Some people get in relationships because they trying to avoid the abandonment issues they may have had as a child. Some people get in relationships because they may be looking for a parent.
But why would you need them? It'd be more like, I want them, because you can need yourself. You can work on yourself.
But not if you never learned it.
That's true.
Because sometimes when you tell people between the need and want, they think it's the same thing until you break it down.
Right.
When you need somebody, that's toxic. You want them in a way that is healthy, so that you can grow together as two individuals. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But the thing of it is that when we move so fast in a relationship and we go through the sweetheart mode, when everything is so hunky-dory, we still learning each other. We haven't told each other everything about each other. It's like tiptoeing around. You know what I'm saying? So the thing of it is that, like, nowadays people need to break that cycle. When you meet an individual, I don't care about the good. Tell me the bad first. I want to know how you are when you wake up in the morning. I want to know what ticks you.
But that's kind of overwhelming, though.
But it ain't overwhelming. But you know what is keeping it real? Because the thing of it is, you wasting time being lovey-dovey, wookie, coochie with somebody, and 3 and 4 months done went by, and then you decide to move in with that person, and then you find out the real them when they're irritated and all this other stuff. Because nowadays, people move fast.
Well, you start to see their real nature.
Exactly. But you know what? You put all your eggs in one basket into an investment that left you bankrupt.
Yeah.
So the thing of it is, before you cash that check, let me see how much money you got in the bank first before you write it. Mm-hmm. And that's what I mean by show me your bad first. Let's change the narrative. Mm-hmm. Tired of going in the cycle. I'm ready to put my clothes in the dryer. So we about to air this out. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So show me something different, because you know what? Before you came along, the thing of it is that I was going through the same cycle with everybody else, having to start over. So let's change it up. Let's change up the narrative. I want to know you're bad. There is no judgment. Hell, we all got, things about us that we still need to continue to work on, that we may not like about ourselves, but it's a part of us. You know what I'm saying? But hey, wouldn't you want to be with somebody who accepts your bad just as they accept your good? No judgment?
I'm pretty sure they do, but here's the problem.
What's the problem?
They haven't worked on themselves to actually go through that phase.
But see, that's what I'm saying.
A lot of people want good, right? People, I hear this a lot, and it kind of bugs me a little bit. And I say a little bit because I haven't got there yet. People like, I just want to have fun. I just want to be in a good mood. And nothing wrong with that.
Right. Nothing wrong with it at all.
I just want to meet, we go on a date. I want a person that's going to make me laugh. And there's nothing wrong with that either.
True.
But when you start crying, let's say you always focus, I want somebody to make me laugh. What about them times when that person make you cry? Can you have a conversation with that person, your partner? Can you sit down and say, look, I'm sorry that you're feeling this way, and have an open and honest conversation?
People don't do that no more because You know what? A lot of relationships go off of looks.
It is. It's based off of looks and what you can do for me.
If a person make you feel good in the moment, you locked in.
Yo, sweetheart.
Yeah. That's the sweetheart mode. But then when you get old and wrinkly, you know what I'm saying? And you trying to find back that oomph because you see that it's going nowhere and it may be leading into divorce. It's never too late, but you got to realize you got to change the narrative.
You got to change the narrative. And the narrative, we mean, starting with you.
Yeah.
Because you can do everything for your relationship, and that narrative's still there.
Because the thing of it is, you get some people out here, they buy board card games and all that stuff. You shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to do that. It's all about sitting down with that person and just ask what you want to ask, because 9 times out of 10, you already know what the hell you want to ask. I feel like you put them card games on the table to try to like beat around the bush.
You messy.
But I'm just saying though, is it not real? Is it not true though?
It's true.
You don't need a card game to tell somebody how you feel.
Well, people use card games because they don't know the questions to ask a person, because we're so you got to look at it. We have tablets, we have electronics, all this technology at our fingertips, and it's moving at a higher rate, right? Faster than some of our brains, right?
Yeah.
And so some people can't think outside of that. Some people are like, what question do I ask? It is nervous, but the question you should ask is, what's important to you, right? Like, what's going to say, you know what, this is a deal breaker. It's going to be a make or a deal breaker. Point blank.
Right. But the thing of it is, too, is that if the person don't know how to ask that question, you better get a pen and a piece of paper and write it down. You got to be real in the situation. Because all you're going to do, yeah, I don't care. Do what you got to do. You can write a novel. But you already know what you want to say. Think about it.
And here, if you don't know what to say, then that tells you everything. Maybe take some time out before you start dating and really get to understand and really know what you like emotionally, physically, what brings you joy, what brings you sadness. You know, these are things that you should know for yourself, not get a partner and they should figure it out.
Right. And then you get some people, right, that be like, oh, well, I like this person. You know, we got issues we need to work on, but we're going to do it together. This is not a PBS special. What you mean, do it together? No. If you got issues and if I got issues, there ain't no doing it together if you're not qualified to be able to handle my issues and you just going to tell me what I'm supposed to do. We're not doing all that. You need to go work on yourself. I'm going to go work on myself. If we end up coming back as one, fine. That's okay. Right. Because it's considered growth. But we ain't doing all that, you know, Dr. Phil, where it's just like, oh, we're going to sit down and have a discussion and this is what you guys going to do. No, that's not real life. Right. Real life is actually being real to the person. If you're going to call this person over here your sweetheart, you should be able to tell them anything. And you guys sit down and have a conversation, not compromising, a full-blown conversation to where you both can come to an agreement cold-heartedly, but equally at 100%. Yeah. Because like I said, you can't, that sweetheart mode, have some people fucked up.
Well, I just tell you, like, people like that sweetheart. It's, you know, you meet somebody, I really like this person.
They be all googly eyed and like, you know, they end up changing themselves to be with that person when they know that it's not fully them. But then they be like, well, you know, they listen to me. Anybody can listen to you. Mm-hmm. Hell, you can go to the waterfront and talk to a stranger. They'll listen to you.
They make me feel happy. Did you make yourself feel happy?
Exactly.
At the time? But people do that. They bounce, and this is another thing. They bounce from relationship to relationship looking for happiness. And that's why we call it the sweetheart. It's like a sweet tart. Isn't that like a thing where you put it in your mouth?
Yep, sweet tart, yeah.
And it's sweet, and then all of a sudden it gets bitter and sour, and you want to spit it out. That's how relationships with sweethearts these days are going. It's like jumping from people to people to look for.
You know what? You're so right. And then it gets to the point where, you know what I'm saying, you see some people where they try to justify. Well, I mean, he a good person or she's a good person. No, skip all that. Get straight to the facts.
We all good people in a way.
Right.
We all got bad points in a way.
We sure do. And you know what? Nobody's perfect. And some relationships can be worked out. But when you get to that point where you playing tug of war back and forth and nobody's really, you know, coming to like, if you're not coming to the middle together, then you got to ask yourself, what are we doing? Okay. Because you're not getting younger. We're getting older. You know what I'm saying? You want to be 75 years old and then turn around and be like, okay, well, we're finally just going to like go separate ways. Who gonna want you at 75? Now, I know there's some 75s out there that's still dating and stuff. More power to you. But I'm just saying, just in general, like, you know, not everybody that lucky. But at 75, starting over.
But here's the shit. Age is just a number.
It is just a number. And you know what? That's another thing. I'm glad you brought that up because you know what? A lot of people would say this too. You know, you get into the little sweetheart mode or whatever, and they'd be like, oh, well, I'm going to date an older person because they're mature. Maturity ain't got nothing to do with it because you get people who are in their 20s that are mature, more mature than somebody who in their 30s or 40s. It's all about that person's life experience and how they grew as an individual. It has nothing to do with age anymore.
Yeah.
It really don't. But you know what? We was brought up on that, you know? And it's just like, it's not true. It's about the person.
Well, I think we were brought up on that because people do be dating young people, like in the sense of in their teens and shit. You know? Like if you in your 30s and you're dating a teenager, please stop it.
Yeah, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's where we're talking about teenagers. Even in women, brains are developing.
And a lot of celebrities are doing that now where you got celebrities that are like 60 years old and they dating like a 20-year-old. Yeah, that 20-year-old is legal, you know, but the thing of it is just like, did you miss out on something in your childhood that you didn't gain? Because that's how I think about it. No judgment. We just putting it out there. You know what I'm saying? But the thing of it is just that, like, you know, a lot of people look at like age and the maturity, like, well, you're older, you're supposed to be mature. That don't mean nothing. That's doo-doo. It is. You know what I'm saying? And it comes to the fact of like, especially in the celebrity world, you see a lot of sweetheart modes, especially when they be walking the red carpet and doing all that stuff, right?
Because they in the moment, you know, everybody want to talk about, oh my God, their relationship. Like, you got to understand, you are in the eye of everything.
Yeah, no, you really are.
If that relationship goes to the shitter, people are going to want to know about it and they're going to dig about it. Trust me, we do know.
Right. And then you know what, for people who are in the sweetheart stage and it may went from sugar to shit, because you know what, that happens nowadays and it's okay. Look, say it with your chest. It went from sugar to shit. But the thing of it is, as long as you learn why it went from sugar to shit, that's all that matters. Nobody has to know what went on in the relationship because only you and that individual know what y'all went through with the ups and downs and that it didn't work. The thing of what people got to stop doing is stop trying to make something work when you know it's not going to exist.
That's true.
Because all you doing is setting yourself up for failure.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how good a person look, you know, because sometimes people tag along with looks. They be like, oh, that's my baby. That's my world. That's my heart. And you can ask a person like, well, why is it? And they can't even tell you why, because they're going off the looks. Well, we look good together.
Well, you know.
I mean, come on. This ain't no Barbie and Ken commercial.
Well, you definitely, I think it's more, you know, people say it's because of their heart. You ever hear somebody say, you meet their baby for the first time, they have their baby, right?
Yeah.
And you go to pull back the quilt and that baby is ugly.
Yeah.
And then you be like, oh, at least that baby got a good heart.
No, you know how we do. We be like, hey, that baby's so precious. So, you know, back in our community, when you say precious, everybody know the baby ain't cute.
That's a precious little baby.
Because precious is the word for AKA your child is not cute.
Mm-hmm. So that's a question mark, I feel like, when you said, like, looks ain't everything. And it's not. Looks ain't everything, but attraction is something.
But sometimes, you know, you got to think about it. When you take attraction out of it, right? Mm-hmm. And you take that out, you have to look at the person from the inside. And sometimes when you look at the person from the inside, and sometimes you got to dig deep. But the thing of it is that, like, you got to really get to know them as a person. Because like I said, no matter who you talking to, it's an investment.
Here's I got a prime example.
Uh-oh.
Here's a prime example. This day and age, I mean, it was in our age, people were marrying. It was very rare. You didn't hear about it, or people didn't talk about it until they came around. But there's a lot of people who are not marrying out of love. They're marrying for, like, because that marriage is an investment. It is. So they're marrying older men or older women because it's an investment. Look, like I said, we're in survival mode, right? We're in a time where things are through the roof and food is at its all scarcity and stuff. But I think people are now marrying more for. I think marriage is starting to look like an investment. It's no looking like, you know what, I went to high school with this person, this is my sweetheart, and even that's questionable, you know. And then all of a sudden, you know, we can't survive on love.
Well, you know, the thing of it is too is people don't know how to accept change. Think about it. When you get with somebody in high school, right? Mm-hmm. They're your high school sweetheart. And then, like, you know, once you graduate, if you don't go to college or whatever together, you know, you get a job or whatever, you stay in the same little hometown and you end up getting married, having kids and everything. And this is the only person that you really been with, right?
Yeah.
The thing of it is that, like, even through that time, even as kids, you think you know everything about a person. But sometimes when you got a spouse or a boyfriend or a girlfriend, etc., sometimes you don't tell them everything on how you feeling. Because the reason why, especially from the male point of view, is because they always been brought up to believe and have, because it's the society way of being a protector. So if you known as the protector for your family, you're not going to tell your wife and girlfriend how you feel, because it's going to make you feel vulnerable in a way to not want to have them think that you're weak.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's where a lot of barriers in between relationships start crashing, because who is the male supposed to talk to? You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So they may talk to another male who may be like, oh, I'm an alpha male. You don't show your emotions, yada, yada, yada. You can't talk to them about having feelings, you know? And then, you know, depending on where you're from, some people are like, oh, well, just pray about it. You're not getting any feedback really back. You praying about it, but ain't nobody really hearing you. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things that go into it, but it's just like that beginning phase is really the most important, and we ignore it. Actually getting to know that person for who they really are without the mask. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem that is wrong in relationships, especially in our society, is that number one, we move too fast when we get with an individual. Number two, we cover up parts of ourselves that we may think they may not like without even testing it out. You know what I'm saying? Number three, we may already go into this role of, I'm going to have to be the provider, you know?
That's true.
So it's like, it's a lot of things that get covered back up because we in this sweetheart stage of liking a person. You tell yourself in the back of your mind, oh, well, those things can wait until later on. And then you know what? 15 years done pass by and you like, man, where did it go wrong? You see what I'm saying? That's why I said in the beginning, you know, it's just like,
because people are desperate, you know what I'm saying? And like when we're younger, who doesn't want to be in love, right? Like when they picture, and we all been brought up on, you know, Leave It to Beaver and shit like that.
Andy Griffin show.
Well,
The Golden Girls.
The Golden Girls. Like some of these, and just the movies, how they portrayed love to be. It's
right.
Like, you know, you're walking into this dream, this good dream where everything is so unreal, but it feels exciting, right?
Yeah.
And it's supposed to stay consistent. They never show you the back end of it where, and even with like elderly couple, you'll see elderly couple, they've been together for 70 years. They talk about all the good times they had. We used to dance. We did this. This is how we were able to stay together. No, let's talk about the bad times. How did you get past that? And so with those type of relationships, they came out of the sweetheart phase.
But you know what? To a certain degree. And the reason why I say that is because you have some of those old people stuck in that generation where they just tolerated it.
Yeah.
They put up with each other.
Yeah. I hear people,
you know, where it's just like, you know, old people now, they bicker back and forth. They be like, oh, shut up, Sally. You sit down somewhere, Bob. Get on my nerves. But the thing of it is, and people be like, oh, y'all still love each other. No, read between the lines is not love. But the thing of it is, because of the generation that they grew up in, right, you were supposed to stay together. You had a family, you had kids. But I'm just saying, no, in a lot of those, depending on what state you're from, a lot of people stayed together because they had families. But they was not in love. The love had already sailed the ship because the husband out here cheating because the man would go to work.
Well,
The wife at home barefoot with the kids.
wow. Here's a good one, a good movie to watch. Notebook.
Okay, y'all gonna hate me for saying it. I ain't never saw Notebook, but Notebook looked so artificial.
No, you gotta see it because you ain't never seen it.
I just saw half of it where I'm just like, you sitting on the beach waiting for a note to settle in out of a bottle.
No, Notebook.
Okay, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah,
before I fully knock it, I'm gonna watch it.
Guys, go watch Notebook, and I'm gonna tell you, it's from beginning to end, and how they met, and how things. He's from a different type of family. He's from a poor family and working class family, and she's from a high end, very rich family. And there's some fighting. There is definitely watch it.
Okay, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna give myself homework. I'm gonna watch the Notebook.
Yeah, watch the Notebook.
Is it boring?
I love it. That's one of my favorite movies.
Okay, I'm gonna have to watch this Notebook.
Because here's the thing. The reason why it's one of my favorite movies is because even though he fell madly in love with her,
right,
it was like he expressed his feelings, his truth, he was honest with her, right? But at the same time, they didn't show the sweetheart all the way through. You know how some movies like,
yeah.
You know, they stay consistent. Like, no. Even though they got married, she came back and married him. She was married to a different guy.
Okay.
At the same time. But like, you just gotta watch it. I can't tell you everything.
Okay. I'll watch the Notebook.
I love that movie. Because it's real. I mean, that's how I see love actually being, because love ain't gonna be consistent.
It sure ain't. Love is hard. Because you know what? I didn't really realize it took me a while to understand love. It took me a few years, some years to understand love.
What you mean? Like it's some years?
Because to me, you know what I'm saying? Like, love was just a word.
Yeah.
It didn't come with the emotional piece of it because people overuse that word. Like we said before in our previous podcast, you know, the word love is something that was artificially used for people to get what they wanted. And they never really truly understood. They never really truly understood the true meaning of what love really was. Think about it now. People say love you all the time. Do you really mean it? 9 times out of 10, people just be saying it to say it. Mm-hmm. Because you know what? Programmed.
Yeah, I don't really say that word unless like there's some real true meaning behind that.
And yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like for me, I don't say the word now unless I mean it. But I ain't gonna be saying something that I don't mean now. You know what I'm saying? Before then, it was just kind of like back in my days where I was just like non-emotional and didn't really have a sense of what feelings really was. I would just tell you whatever you needed to hear. Because I would just be like, because it was uncomfortable, because I didn't know how to connect with what feelings truly meant. Mm-hmm. I mean, you talking to somebody that didn't even cry. I knew where anger was, but that was the only thing that I could like easily express. The rest of it, I had to learn it. It had to be taught. It did. In therapy, it had to be taught. I was, one of those little things.
That's childhood. That's your childhood.
Yeah. So I had to be taught as an adult going through child therapy. Mm-hmm. So, you know what I'm saying? And so now as an adult, I know what it means. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of stuff is still like, I'm working on it. But it's just like, that's why I said it took years of growth to get to that point. But the sweetheart stage is like now, when you really trying to like be in a relationship, you have to be open and honest from the jump. Most people want to wait. Don't wait. That's why you end up being in situationships and you be like, man, I'm stuck. Being nice get you stuck.
Being nice get you stuck.
So you just come out the jump with it. Because if that person really want to get to know you and they think you cute and they think you they world, they either going to sit at the table and embrace what you saying or they going to get up and leave. Mm-hmm. And then they did you a favor. Because you was going to be stuck like Chuck. And it ain't harsh. You ain't got to go about it like harsh or the wrong way by asking people those questions. But I mean, like, wouldn't you rather know in the beginning instead of wasting your time?
That's true.
How you think about how many heartaches you done been through, Charity? Where you've been like, man, If I would have just been like blunt in the beginning, I saw the signs, I wouldn't have been in this situationship.
Yeah, if I wouldn't have been nice.
Right.
Yeah.
And now I feel like we too old to be nice.
But that was also my childhood trauma. Like, I was like searching at the time in my younger days, just searching for something.
Right.
You know, and it was like, if I love this person like this, right, then they'll give that love back. Nope.
Yeah. Don't expect things from other people that you don't expect from yourself. That's the lesson learned.
Yep. And you teenagers out there who are in high school or now more than ever, middle school, like, take some time out for yourself. You don't have to like want that right away. You don't love yourself first.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look for the sweetheart phase, and because it's going to be a phase. We all been through it in high school, middle school, like even elementary now these days. But stop trying to look for that.
Yeah, because
it does not last.
Because I'm telling you, we all done been through it. That first heartbreak is raw.
Mm-hmm.
The first heartbreak. And sometimes, you know what? That first heartbreak, you don't even fully understand it. Because you put so much into it and you just thought that person was the one.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? That situation right there was your first lesson.
It was, but I didn't learn that.
That's what I'm saying. But you know, some of us had many more lessons to learn.
Right.
You know?
Because we're so desperate. We're so desperate looking for that, just that SweetHeart. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're going through the motions and trying to find somebody. I'll be honest with you. In my younger days, I wasn't thinking about, well, was it me? Was it me? At the end of the day, now that I'm older, I'm just like, yeah, if I could have just took a step back,
yeah,
and say, you know what, these are things that I really need to work on, right?
Yeah.
Because when you're young, your hormones are going, right? And that's another factor. Your hormones are going, you're like, and everything feels intensely, right? That's all it is. It's intensely.
Yeah.
When it dies down, there's always going to be somebody else at the end of the corner.
That's true. That's true.
And there's going to be heartbreak. And it really is. It's definitely going to be heartbreak. So that being said, I want to thank everybody for listening to our podcast, the 293 Code podcast. And also, please go watch The Notebook and tell me what you guys think. I'm going to have this fool watch The Notebook.
I will watch and I'll let you guys know my thoughts on The Notebook here very soon. Yeah, I'll watch it before I go to bed.
Yeah. So that being said, I want to say thank you.
We out.